What is this? Eber, I have these new GSP 500 from Sennheiser. How do they look?
They look ridiculous, man.
You mean you don't like how I can fit my entire hand above the ear cup?
You know what you could do is actually hold another pair of headphones using the little cut on your head. So like have another set of headphones sort of dangling on the side, you know?
Like this? Oh my god, it actually works. Oh, where has the gaming headset design gone? Now we have this. What are you wearing right now? What's your favorite pair?
I'm actually wearing the AKG K7Xs. These are the Mass Drop Edition. Super comfortable, lightweight. I love it.
Alright, so this is ridiculous. So let's review the GSP 500 right after this. Thanks, Eber.
Yay.
The new Masterkeys MK750 keyboard comes with a comfortable magnetic wrist rest, beautiful RGB light bar on the perimeter, and per-key lighting control with a variety of Cherry MX switches and a bottom Type-C connection. Cooler Master doing it right. Check it out below. Alright, so the intro basically summarizes my almost frustration with the entire gaming headset market direction, because why did they have to be all so clunky, so chunky, so like really in your face and aggressive design, and especially coming from Sennheiser, the company that's brought us the Game series, which I would consider to be the best headset lineup ever. They look fantastic, they're comfortable, they sound amazing, and the microphone is best in class. But I understand Sennheiser needs to expand and diversify their gaming lineup because, you know, Game 0 and Game 1, where do you go from there? Whereas with the GSP lineup, you add 300, 600, and now 500. Easy diversification within their product lineup. So the GSP 500 is just an open back version of the GSP 600 with a few needed modifications. So let's talk about them now. And so the one thing I appreciate with the open back version is the simplification of the body. So for example, the ear cups no longer have this very aggressive look to them on the exterior. For example, the red accents are just round and no longer have this industrial feel to them as on the GSP 600. The GSP 500 is also about 40 grams lighter than the GSP 600, which is definitely a compliment in this whole comfort element. Because both of them have pretty strong clamping force. The GSP 600 more so because it's a closed back pair, so they need to create that really tight seal so you cannot hear anything. But this being an open back design, the clamping force is just right, and having a lighter frame overall means you can wear them for longer without experiencing any fatigue or clamping force anywhere on your head. The clamping force has also been reduced with this one, which I appreciate. So the bottom of the ear cup no longer is kind of like the dominant pressing point and you have to adjust around that. Now here they're a bit more natural, whereas with the GSP 600, look at how much it curves like a triangle at the bottom, whereas here we can actually have a bit more space when they're in this like default orientation. And the one thing that I don't appreciate from Sennheiser is their imaging on the site, where all the headphones look like the ear cups are flat, which is not the case at all. When a headphone is just by default, it's very much just a triangle when the ear cups come down, and even more so with the GSP 600 that have pretty strong clamping force in this bottom section. So perhaps they should change up their imagery to actually demonstrate what these headsets look like when they're on your head. The ear cup design is also quite different on the 500 versus the 600. So first of all, it's not as thick. It does not have the leather material. Instead, we have this soft fabric, which is super comfortable on your skin. There is no heat concentration. It allows your ears to breathe, which is awesome. But it does not have any memory foam on the interior of the ear cup, like you would on a 600 that would hold the shape whenever you would press into it. So here they're more firm, but still the seal is quite good, and it allows to, it kind of retains a lot of the bass inside the ear cup, which is awesome, despite having these kind of open sections on the ear cup where the sound would leak. Now the two reasons why I love open back headphones is because one, soundstage is widened, so the audio is not concentrated in your ear cups. Instead, it's a bit more open, it's a bit more airy, and I prefer that sound signature. And for number 2, I just like to be aware of my ambient surroundings. So if I'm listening to music, really loud volumes, or playing a video game and somebody is at the door, I can hear them knocking or ringing the bell. I can hear my phone ringing. I can hear if there's something on the stove that needs to be turned off. And whenever I test any closed back headsets like the GSP 600, which provides incredible isolation, you could be yelling on my ear right behind me and I could not hear anything. So that kind of scares me a little bit of not being aware of what's happening in my space. So open back nature headsets is just the way to go for me personally. Now the ear cups are removable if you want to clean them and potentially clean anything around the driver, and maybe even swap them out for leather ear cups if you want more isolation and bass enclosure. The microphone is no longer as stiff as on the GSP 600, so the headset stays in position when you bring it down or when you mute it in the upright position, and the volume dial on the right side has nice stiffness to it, so you don't accidentally change your volume whenever you handle the headset. It doesn't actually rotate the headset like you would on the GSP 600.
Microphone test time. So what you're hearing now is a GSP 500. I think it sounds awesome. One of the best microphones on the gaming headset. There is no nasally characteristics. It has some compression going on, so the voice has bass, it has detail, and it sounds identical to the GSP 600. So what you're hearing now is the GSP 600. The microphone is identical. It sounds exactly the same. This is going directly into my motherboard, so there is no compression. This is straight unedited. The only thing here is that because it's a closed headset, everything I say right now is muted, and I really don't like that feeling. And finally, the Game 1 headset, which has been my go-to microphone for gaming headsets. I think it sounds phenomenal. This one doesn't have as much bass as the others, and this one has a little bit more compression. But out of the three, which one do you like the sound of the most?
I really like the 2-meter removable cable. The braiding is awesome. It doesn't kink and it doesn't catch on anything, but you can still hear the cable noise when the cable is brushing against your shirt or something. Now, in terms of overall comfort, I prefer the 500 over the GSP 600 because the clamping force is not as strong. So when you put them on, it doesn't feel like you have a lot more pressure concentrated at the bottom of the ear cup, which is definitely present on the GSP 600. You still have the headband pressure adjustment with these sliders that have little markings, so you can make sure that they're in this equal position. However, on the size expansion, while they would accommodate really large heads, you still have no markings for size adjustment on the headband, so you don't know exactly if you're expanding them equally on each side. Now, the one thing I have to point out is that in order to achieve a uniform seal on the entire height of the ear cup, you have to play around not only with size adjustment and the headband sliders up top, but also the angle at which the headset and the headband sits on your head. Because otherwise you might experience too much pressure at the bottom of the ear cup and too loose at the top. And so I found that by pushing the headset forward a little bit more, I'm able to cover my ears more uniformly, so the ear cup is there and the pressure sort of distribution is all equal. And I mention that because for headsets like the Game 1, it's super low profile, it's snug on your head, it's absolutely perfect, there's not too much clamping force, but you can only expand the size. There is no adjustability in terms of the pressure point like you would on the GSP 500 and 600, and I'm not sure what type of maybe focus groups they had that indicated that this would be the best design for the current gaming generation or something like that would buy this product. But I feel like they're overcomplicating the comfort department, whereas the bottom of the headset is just way too inward. It's way too much of a triangle, and that causes them to create these adjustable headband sliders to compensate for this frame error. Whereas with the Game 1, as you can see, the ear cups are completely flat by default, and they can rotate based on the head shape, so that I would find them having this flat nature is a lot more comfortable than having a lot more pressure at the bottom first and then rotating to fit with your head size. And so now you know how I feel about the GSP 500 in terms of comfort versus the 600. I like these more. The open nature style is awesome. They're lighter, comfort-wise is better, not as much clamping force. Now, in terms of sound performance, they have the same driver specifications as the 600, but have totally different characteristics. So for the 600, they tuned them to be a little bit more open, so that even though you're listening to a closed back design, the soundstage is more widened, and it's not through simulated surround sound, but through the driver tuning and stuff like that. So you would experience something on a larger scale, even though everything was enclosed within the Earcup. With the GSP 500, I don't think they have to do that because the open nature already does that automatically in terms of expanding your sound environment. So I feel like the drivers here are more tuned like naturally. You still get really good bass, not as like rumbling deep all inside the Earcup bass as you would on the 600, but really powerful. You can feel it and not airy. The bass on the GSP 500 is absolutely incredible for an open back nature, compared to the Game 1, which has absolutely almost no bass whatsoever. In terms of treble control, Sennheiser has always been on the smoother end, so no issues here, absolutely no harshness, even if you're listening to something treble heavy, high-end heavy, no problems with control, and no fatigue whatsoever. The best thing about this headset for games is the creation of this natural stereo imaging that's in front of you. You can clearly separate between stereo, left and right channels, no problem. You don't need to simulate surround sound to get this large audio environment because the open back nature already does that for you. So playing Witcher 3, for example, you're in the forest, you can feel exactly how large the forest is. You're not listening to something super closed off in your ear cups, and I love this expansion that happens naturally without any surround sound simulation. If you really want to gain advantage in like PUBG, if you want to know exactly where people are coming from, you get that sense of somebody's upstairs and you know exactly at which part of the floor they are on, and not just hearing something at the top of the ear cup. So this expansion of the sound imaging and sound environment is really helpful for competitive if you really want to know exactly where those little minute audio details are coming from. I replayed Half-Life 2 with this pair, and man, what an experience, like feeling the audio environment. You know, it's a really old game, so the sound engine is not up to par what we get with like Battlefield 1 right now, but still, it's just feeling the audio immersiveness and seeing G-Man for the first time, that was absolutely incredible. But is it $230 incredible? It is $20 cheaper versus the GSP 600, so if you don't need that incredible isolation you get with these, and potentially can try them on before you buy them to see if the fit is right for you, the GSP 500 would definitely be my pick. They are improving the GSP lineup though, so in comparison to the older game series, the build quality on these is much better, and the Game 1 is my second pair in 2 years. Something happened inside the ear cup and the audio was not working. The bass extension here is much improved versus the game series, and you still get that airy soundstage, really nice detailed treble without the harshness. It's all smooth, really excellent mid-range, but the bass is a lot more pronounced versus the older stuff. I still like the fit and the look of the game series, but I'm guessing they're moving into this direction for a little bit more recognition when they're finally like, you know, part of like esports competitions, where something like this on players' heads would definitely gain Sennheiser that brand gaming recognition. Join the wireless club with Corsair's new Dark Core mouse. Play the way you want with 9 programmable buttons aligned in a comfortable shape, a fantastic sensor you can trust, and crazy good wireless performance, plus Qi wireless charging built in. Focus on the game, the Dark Core will do the rest. Alright guys, so that is it for my review of the GSP 500. I'm pretty happy with the improvements they've done over the GSP 600, but yeah, you let me know what you think of this direction from Sennheiser in the comments below. Make sure to check out this other relevant content, and we'll see you in the next video.